Welcome, bronies, to the FOB Equestria Podcast, the official podcast of FOB Equestria, hosted on our TeamSpeak server, which is simply ts.fobequestria.com. If you want to get on that and use that with your friends, you are more than welcome to. This week we have Josh Scorser, otherwise known as Firebrand, Saunter Hoof, myself, Tweak, and two members of Everfree Northwest's convention staff, Flips. How do you say your last name? Your second part of your name? Flips Saute?
Yeah, Saute.
Saute. Okay, so I was right. It's the first time. Okay, and then Kagan. So say hi.
Hi.
Sup?
And then everyone else can say hi if they want to, but I mean, people who listen regularly kind of know who you are.
I don't want to.
Saunter, you almost said something.
Okay.
And
Hi.
Josh, being uncharacterly.
Hi.
Okay, that's more in character for you. You were quiet for a change. Just saying. Normally.
Who? What?
Who? What? Huh? So, anyway.
You what, man? I have no idea what's going on.
That's expected from you, Army.
Oh gosh, please do not do that accent ever again. No. No. No.
What? What? What?
You sounded like Herbert the pervert.
Bring your fat ass back here. I got some
pretty good.
popsicles for you.
You can't do the whistle. You aren't doing the whistle. But
I can't whistle.
aw, poor Tweak. But
Eat it.
I prefer not to. So, I guess first topic of discussion is FOB coins. We are pretty much out of stock of the ones we were selling.
Big shock.
Big shock, right? Demand was crazy. There is a very good likelihood that we will be placing an order for more, although we have not 100% confirmed that yet. I realize there is a demand out there, and we would like to provide that service to you guys if we are able. But if there is another batch ordered, there will be a post on it, and you will certainly be notified via the website. So just check it out there. Just be there for the update. And if you have placed an order by the time we have completely run out of stock, I think last note we have sold like 48 of the 50 coins we had for sale. But if you place an order and we are out of stock, we will be refunding that money to you, and you will be able to purchase it once we do have more in stock. If we end up ordering more, like I said, I would personally like to, but it's just a matter if it is something we are capable and able to bring you guys. We are trying to. We're treading. We aren't quite sure on the direction we want to go with merchandise here, but that's staff chat. You guys don't need to know how everything works behind the scenes. Just know that once we do make our decisions and have news for you guys, it will be posted onto the website. And second thing of note that I have is the fan fiction review position. I'm closing that out because I have 5 applicants at this point in time, and I guess I should say I'm closing that out this Sunday, the 23rd of June. So if you get an application in on Sunday, I'll still consider it. And throughout next week, I will be communicating with those applicants further and basically interviewing them to fill the position. If you send an application after the 23rd, however, I will not be considering it. I did not expect this large of an interest. And then you say, well, 5 people within a week's time, that's not a huge interest. And I'd say you're right. But it's a greater interest than I was expecting. I was thinking I might get 1 or maybe 2 people looking to jump into that position, and here I got 5 within a week's time. So I'm sorry if you want to fill that position and you send something and you send in an application after the 23rd, but I will not be considering it. But hopefully you will see on the website a new fan fiction reviewer bringing you content, and hopefully you'll see something of a bit of an increased regularity when it comes to the literature division bringing you fan fiction based content. So anyway, that's all the news I have on the FOB going ons. Anyone else have something they want to talk about, maybe with their respective FOB projects? Anything going on gaming?
Nothing that we'd really want to announce right now because we're still talking about this, and we don't want to like jump the gun with it and let everyone know what we're doing before we even decide anything. But I'm just gonna leave it at we've got some things planned and we've got some possible connections that we're going to exploit.
I don't know if exploit is quite the right term, but way to just...
Nope, that's a good term.
Okay, yeah, sure, why not? It works well enough.
Exploit and extract and manipulate are all good terms for that.
Horrible. Horrible, both of you. And also horrible at just teasing our listeners by giving them no information whatsoever but telling them that something is going on.
Well, hey, maybe they should watch the next podcast and find out what we could possibly be talking about.
You are horrible, Josh. And I love you for it.
Thank you. I try.
There's
it's like
a reason.
he's done this before.
I know. It's like there's a reason or something why he has over 55,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel or something. Marketing.
He paid them all off.
Huh? What was that, Tweak? I did not hear what you said at all.
Nothing. I said a damn word.
Well, I was gonna say you might want to wipe your nose off a little bit because it looks a little brown.
I said he paid him off. I was insulting him, douche.
Possibly
Anyway.
pay everyone off, but never mind.
Wow. Wow. Not bragging at all, Josh. Anyway. So we do have, like I said earlier, we have Flip Saute and Kagan here with Everfree Northwest. If you have been following our website over the past week or so, a couple weeks I guess it's been. I kind of lose track of time. You know, busy life tends to do that. But we have been doing a lot of promotional stuff on our website with convention, especially in Everfree Northwest. They have been very kind in sending us all sorts of updates for us to bring to you guys and let you know what's going on with that sort of thing. But they're here to give their own little promotional spiel on, you know, a more in-depth, I guess, sort of idea of what this convention is going to entail. So you guys are free to talk about it. You have the floor.
Come
Alright,
to
I'll
our
go ahead and let
con.
you go.
Give us money.
True to our business department. He sees dollar signs all the time, I swear. But he does very good work. Yeah, here at Everfree Northwest, yeah, we're definitely looking at a very exciting lineup. We have some awesome special guests planned, you know, as well as some nice little panels. We have, you know, military panels for military bronies especially. And we have Double Rain Boom, just a couple of events to name off the top of our head. And we will be offering some very interesting options at the door. We now have single day passes that are actually going to be sold right at the door for people who would like to make it but are only able to make it a day and don't want to go ahead and pay for the entire 3 days. So with that, you know, things are definitely shaping up, and we're definitely going to go have an exciting convention.
Yeah. So Everfree Northwest, it's looking like, for maybe people who haven't been following up with the posts, what is the time frame for Everfree Northwest here?
Everfree Northwest is going to be running July 5th through the 7th, and it's going to be July 5th in the morning to all the way to the mid-evening on Sunday. We have several 24-hour events going on. You know, we have, you know, a lot of musicians going on for several. We have pretty much events for, you know, running all times of the day, and you know, it's I think it's very, very convenient as far as scheduling goes this year.
Sounds like you have quite the large convention planned here.
Oh yes, definitely. We you know, we're not we're not overplaying, but we're just happy to get, you know, whoever wants to go ahead and come. And we, in all honesty, from just from looking out there, we've been seeing that we've been hailed as only second to BronyCon. But in response to that, I actually believe that we're not competing with any convention at all. It's just we hold an event for Everfree Northwest here in the Northwest, and if people want to come, and we just do our best to let them have the best time.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Some bronies definitely say, well, they play the comparison game, and they say, well, this convention is kind of competing with this convention or this and the other. And I think a lot of the times, especially the bronies organizing the conventions, aren't trying to compete or outdo anyone. They're just trying to provide a service, an enjoyable time for bronies. It's not about competition. It's about having a good time. So it certainly sounds like that's what you guys are trying to focus on. It sounds like, in my opinion, you have the right mindset. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think the best mindset to go at a convention isn't to be as good or better or as than any convention. I think the best mission statement that a convention can have is what would be interesting to go ahead and see happen, and how can we make it happen? How can we make those 3 days that these patrons are going to be here, how can we make that the best time of their lives? And, being the second year con, we're getting better every year. We do have some repeat events, and we're, definitely jotting some down. Already have some in the works for next year.
Yeah, so we will certainly provide a link to the Everfree Northwest website down in the description of our YouTube video that this whole podcast is playing on. If you're listening via MP3, you can simply just go to our YouTube channel and download it. Click that link. Slight slip of the tongue there. And, it's like you guys pointed out, this is a second-year convention. You have certainly a better idea of what you're doing than, some people. There's a lot to be said for experience when it comes to a convention running smoothly. So I think that should be a great comfort to people who might be a little bit, apprehensive about going to a convention, especially with, certain conventions not working out so well. And
Oh yeah, definitely. I believe that the experience is actually what's been keeping us afloat, and we have, several partners from other conventions. Rainforest, just to name one off the top of my head. We have several people on our con that's helping us through this, and who have the experience, who's been through a couple of cons, to go ahead and help this along. And I really do believe experience is one of the most key things in making sure that any convention works.
Oh, absolutely. And it actually makes me happy to hear you guys are working so well together with, people who have organized other conventions, and, again, showing that brony teamwork, brony spirit of teamwork there. Santa, were you going to say something, or was that?
One of the things that I've been hearing a lot about through, the forums and the Skype chat is that for the most part, most of these bronies only get the chance to go to no more than 3 cons in a year that I've seen, and I think most of the comparisons that have been coming from users that I've seen between you guys at Everfree Northwest and BronyCon is that it's almost like a geographical limitation. It's like, if you're east of the Mississippi, you can probably make it to BronyCon, but you're probably not going to be able to make it to Everfree Northwest. But if you're west of the Mississippi, then it's vice versa. So I think what some people have been doing has been saying it is the big West Coast Brony convention, and you've got the big BronyCon, which is the big East Coast convention. That's just kind of what I've been seeing from most people. I haven't actually met too many people who've actually attended, even last year, that have actually attended both Everfree Northwest and BronyCon in New York City. So. Yeah,
and I do believe a part of that plays into the actual dates being, just a little bit too close together. For most people who are planning on going to a convention, it usually takes not just a couple of weeks, but months of planning, especially if they're on the lower tier or lower wage job. I know I am. But it usually takes months of planning and months of saving to actually make it to a con. And because, both years that we've had both BronyCon and Everfree Northwest so close together, I think that that does knock us out of the choices for at least for a couple of people.
Yeah, I think that's definitely reasonable.
It also helps to put you actually in the choices of other people who say, I live in Arizona. I'm not going to be able to make the plane flight to BronyCon. I can get a cheaper ticket to Everfree Northwest or something like that, and
Definitely.
they know that they'll pretty much have an equal experience. I think most of the comparisons that I've seen haven't been you guys are competing with them as much as you guys are almost like a I forget
Like a
what
brother.
the relationship would be called, perhaps. I honestly don't know. I forgot my biology curriculum to remember what the species relationship is. I think it's like mutualism or something.
Symbiosis?
Symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
I believe
Yeah,
is what you're
possibly.
Maybe. It definitely seems like it is, in my opinion, there has been an accusation that there are potentially too many Brony conventions that are trying to make themselves on the map. And I think there is some valid justification in that argument. But at the same time, it's all about providing, trying to limit geographical restrictions. I mean, the United States is a rather large landmass, and if there's not a convention reasonably close, some bronies just cannot simply attend a convention. So the fact that you have, I think if you have multiple conventions in the same area, that is definitely kind of saying maybe instead of everyone trying to make their own convention in that one area, maybe they should work together to make one really good convention. Kind of be humble enough to work together. But if it's in distinct geographical locations, I think a convention is a good idea, simply to give every brony who wants that experience the opportunity to have that experience.
After all, the U.S. is a big place.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And, and to those people who we understand are in the geographical middle of nowhere, or, just those who aren't able to go ahead and make it, we do have, both us and BronyCon do offer some options for people who would like to see a particular event but can't quite make it. We do have Everfree Network streaming some of the events. Which events we have yet to go ahead and get out and get out into the open, but we do try our best to go ahead and make sure that it's enjoyable for everyone. But to that effect, at the same time, for those wondering if they can go ahead and just watch the live stream at home and just not come, I believe that there's no better experience than actually in the thick and in the middle of a sing-along, starting in the registration line.
That is really common. It is ridiculously common how many times that happens.
Yes, I would agree, Saunter. Unfortunately, I will not be attending Everfree Northwest. I don't think we actually have any FOB members able to attend, do we? Just due to...
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
well,
Saunter?
the staff probably isn't going to be attending. I don't know about the users. I haven't checked recently.
Right, I guess I should have clarified the FOB Equestria staff due to simply monetary and geographical limitations. I mean, I'm all the way in Arkansas, and that's going to Everfree Northwest would be a significant travel distance and a financial investment. And it's like you said, people who, since Everfree Northwest and BronyCon are so close together, and I've already committed to BronyCon with the rest of the FOB Equestria staff. Not that we're picking favorites, but it's just not viable for me, and it's a shame. Maybe next year, if both Everfree Northwest and BronyCon are happening again next year, maybe I'll make my claim to go to Everfree Northwest instead and kind of just get to experience both. But as for now, it's like we have clearly pointed out, the U.S. is a big place, and sadly, just geographical locations kind of limit what conventions bronies can go to.
Now, speaking of geographic locations, one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting when I went to Counterlot Gardens is that, at least for the guests and the honorary attendees, they had shuttle buses moving people from the nearby airport to the hotel where all this stuff was happening at. Do you guys have any sort of arrangements with any of the with like the hotel and shuttle buses or anything like that going on?
Well, in that regard, it's actually very funny that you asked that. Our venue is actually conveniently located right across the street from the SeaTac International Airport, and regular shuttles actually run between the airport and and any of the hotels all the time. And so even without our doing anything, they actually do offer several shuttle buses that goes ahead and takes the patrons from the airport to the hotels. And even if if some people are feeling adventurous, it really isn't not even an eighth of a mile walk from the front doors of the airport to the hotel.
And in my opinion, that is just plain good venue selection right there. That's all that is. That's
Yeah.
very well located. So kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
Oh, stop.
I mean, as Santer mentioned, Candlelight Gardens there, unfortunately, they will not be hosting a convention this year due to varying circumstances. Candlelight Gardens, where FOB Equestria, that was our first major convention attendance, just will not be happening this year. So if you were maybe planning to go to that, I'm sorry to report that it will not be a possibility.
Yeah, they cut that in like March or something like that.
Yeah,
But
they didn't announce it a while
You got to
ago.
give them credit that they specifically put out there that, hey, we need the funds to do this, and they just didn't get it, so they said, you know what, next year. Rather than
we do send
rather
condolences
than
there.
other circumstances which may have occurred in other places that shall be not mentioned.
Yeah, so I think that was a very good judgment call on their part. They just straight up owned up, said, look, guys, it's not going to be possible this year as much as we would love to do it. It's not within our ability. It's just not realistic. And they admitted that, and they said next year. And I think that was a very wise decision on their part. I think last year they did a very good job. I was very happy with my Candlelight Gardens convention experience. I mean, it was my first convention ever, so it makes it a little bit special. And like I said, I think they just did a stellar job. It was a little bit... the only thing that was a little bit surprising was how tight it was. They had so many people, and it seemed like the venue was a little bit small for as large of attendances they had, which I think that they weren't quite expecting that large of an attendance is what was the whole deal there.
Yeah, they had a large influx of people from all over the country that were coming in. I can personally tell you
Boy,
that.
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, that
Yeah. No, I don't know if you guys have like heard this whole story of our attendance last year. So we'd actually
I
started
did.
off. What?
I
sorry.
actually think I remember doing a post on it. There was you know what? I do remember this now. There was a huge discussion about that. I was digging all into that, but yeah, go ahead. You just lead into it.
So yeah, when we started up at Free Northwest, we were expecting 300 people maybe. We put the cap at like 500, and then
Wow.
we hit 500 really quickly. And like, okay, well, what are we gonna do? So we pulled this ridiculous gonzo move of obtaining another hotel, like I think it was 3.5 months away from our date, and raising the cap to 1,000. We filled that up. We spoke with the hotel, got the cap raised again to 1,500, filled that up, and we still had people clawing at the doors. So
So unexpected success.
If I remember correctly, it was that you guys either ended up accidentally hitting like 1,600 or 2,600 people that like first day.
Something
it was
ridiculous.
It was around 1,500, 1,600. There's a little bit of fudge room here and there, but yeah, I mean, it was interesting.
It sounds like it. I vaguely remember this now that you bring it up. Yeah, I mean, the success was, I'm sure, welcome, but also it was a lot of extra work that you guys weren't quite planning on. So, yeah, it's the convention whole scene. it's a fun time for people attending, but it's a lot of work for the people putting it together, and it's certainly I do have to say we appreciate people like you taking the time to organize these things. It certainly gives a fun aspect to this community. And again, I'll take this time to say, if you have not had the opportunity to go to a convention and you think it's something you might enjoy, I highly recommend it. Finding a convention that will be close enough to you to be, not break the bank is certainly nice. And hopefully, like I said, there do tend to be a lot of conventions that are trying to get on the map, and maybe there might be one close to you. But speaking of conventions, unless you guys had anything more you want to promote about Everfree Northwest, like I said, that your whole website link will be in the description of our YouTube video, so if people want to know more, they certainly can click on that. But if there's anything you want to specifically promote right now, you are still free to go ahead and do so. The floor is still yours.
Give us money.
Okay, you need to go take a seat, Flips.
Give money, do it. But yeah, we
Okay,
actually
go-
have a bunch
go
of
lay
fun
down.
merchandise this year, so give us money and get stuff. So
Yeah,
Buy
there you go.
is that a little better?
Yeah,
Trying. I'm really
just a little
trying.
bit. Just a
Okay.
little bit.
This honestly sounds a little bit like public radio, where they're like, "No, we need to raise $10,000 for this station to survive in the next 2 hours while you're listening to Garrison Keeler. Now, we could offer you a tote bag, but we've decided to go the option of give us $1,000 a day, and we won't break your legs."
But yeah, besides that, the only other thing is that for any of those already planning on attending Everfree Northwest, we do have a small push for staff. We've just about hit our maximum people that we need. We just have a couple more, and so if you'd like to go ahead and go ahead and help out, maybe 1 day or 2 days of the convention, you're more than welcome to apply as a staff and go ahead and join the wonderful staff team. I know my department itself is needing a couple more people to go ahead and smooth things out and make sure none of our operatives are working, the entire convention. But yeah, if you're interested in that, you can go to everfreeNW.com/apply, and we'll look forward to welcoming you to our team.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people who really enjoyed actually their volunteer experience at most of these cons that I've taken a look into. It's been pretty common that even under the worst conditions, the con staffs, even when they're just regular volunteers, they tend to enjoy it. So
Yeah,
it would not be a bad
definitely.
idea.
The first year I attended Everfree Northwest, which was last year, I was actually a first year con attendee. I was actually on just general staff for the moment. I ended up enjoying it so much. I worked 21 hours the first day, and I think like 18 hours the second day, I think.
Oh.
And then of course on Friday, we only had the evening of that Friday, so I could only get in 4 hours there before they had to shut us down for the hotel to go ahead and get everything on their end situated. So all in all, I think I enjoyed staffing a little bit too much, which is a good reason why they went ahead and they went ahead and put me lead a department and let my enthusiasm speak for itself.
Yeah, that was one of the things I remember reporting on about was that the staff that specifically on that first day, from day 1 to day 2, that pretty much even most of the general staff for some of these cons tends to go home, but for that specific scenario that you guys ended up having to deal with, a lot of people just slept wherever they could amongst the other bronies that were there working through the night, and you had the actual head staff members wandering around with oil lamps and working through the night and scratching on pieces of paper and sustaining themselves with artificial plants to eat.
Definitely, yeah. I do know that I wasn't even in the department I was in. I was not the only one that actually worked 21 out. The 21, 22 hours there. There was a lot of people that ended up doing that, and it wasn't because they were required to at all. They really, really did enjoy the convention and enjoy the experience of helping, and they just wanted to go ahead and help out just a little bit more. And there were several department heads who actually ended up forcing some people home. I know my department head actually forced me to go to the hotel room to sleep for a couple of hours, but I was right back at it at 8 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah, I've seen it. Just in case anybody's thinking that's just bullshit, it's not. I've seen a lot of how these cons react, and a lot of what ends up happening is, even if something goes bad, people just continuously want to help to try and make the con work, even if the con just goes completely to crap. But even when it's successful, people just tend to want to make the con work. It's kind of like a reflection of their own work ethic, and they want to do good. So it's just something I've seen a lot. Just so anybody might question your integrity on that answer, I'll tell them to go F themselves.
Well, I appreciate it, but you could use a little bit kinder words there. Love and tolerate.
Nope, I'm Marine. Do it.
Yeah, it's man, convention. I know our personal on our staff, the person who tends to be most involved with volunteering has ended up being Silvermane, who he's kind of a journalist of sorts on our website, but man, he has really just stepped up and as one would expect of an E8 senior master sergeant in the Air Force. There is a reason his name is Silvermane.
No shit, right?
Yeah, so he's really stepped up and kind of become our convention liaison. He's really the go-to guy when it comes to handling all things when it comes to our BronyCon endeavors. And I know the current convention that really has a lot of his focus right now is Fiesta Equestria, which, lo and behold, I wasn't planning on going to, but due to last-minute decisions and sort of finagling of details, I will be going to Fiesta Equestria. FOB Equestria will be having somewhat of a presence there, although not as impressive as probably previous conventions. I actually think the only two official staff members that are going to be at Fiesta Equestria are going to be Silvermane and myself. But yeah, I mean, Silvermane...
Semper Gumby.
He's not staff. He is a FOB Equestria member. He's one of our community, but yeah. And one thing, if there's one thing I've noticed, is that our community, and this is like we have clearly pointed out and just kind of common throughout the Brony fandom in general, but we saw it at Candlelock Gardens as well when we had some FOB Equestria, community members there. They were willing to help. They saw us wearing our FOB Equestria t-shirts, and they're like, oh, hey, and they kind of said hello and shook our hands, and, we hung out a little bit, and then they're like, is there any way I can help you guys with, this whole press coverage thing and all that stuff? And we were like, absolutely. And as we have seen, as we pretty much just talked about, Bronies kind of do that at conventions as well. I mean, if they don't volunteer before going to the convention, and they see an opportunity to help out while they're at convention, a lot of the times, a Brony will jump on that chance. So it's really nice to note that how willing to help Bronies are. And it's honestly...
I think someone asked me that question, like what they could do to help. I don't remember what I said, because I think they just turned into like a faceless blur that I told GTR to go help when I was running between interviews.
Yeah, Candlelock Gardens, our interviews. Candlelock Gardens was a whole lot of running around and taking care of business. And Candlelock Gardens,
But we did take care of business.
We took care of business.
Taken care of.
It was ridiculous. I think, at Candlelock Gardens, we got, 10 interviews or something like that. It just... all over the place.
We got 10 interviews with every single one of the major guests. I probably interviewed another 15 people. I never got to actually post any of that stuff because it was too late for that. But then on top of that, we also made a press room. That was rather entertaining.
Yeah, we we commandeered one of the convention's hotel rooms and used it as a press room. Yeah, that was interesting.
Not just us. We manufactured a room for all the other press too.
Yeah.
I just kind of wonder, where did this press room come from? It's mine.
Yeah, it was. I think Candlelight Gardens is definitely one of our most successful convention coverages, without a doubt.
I feel that BronyCon this year will probably be balls to the walls hilarious.
Oh yeah, without even the slightest doubt on that one, especially because of how much we have planned and the press passes we're looking to get and everything going as smoothly as it is. I mean, BronyCon's looking really good for us, and it's like I said, it's unfortunate we don't really have any of our staff members able to attend Everfree Northwest, but if it's going on next year, I personally would like to kind of go to Everfree Northwest. I mean, I'm in Arkansas. It's a plane ticket to Baltimore and a plane ticket to, it's the plane tickets.
Seattle.
Well, yeah. I was just gonna say the plane tickets between either convention are probably still gonna run me about $400 or something like that, because nothing flies out a little.
Around $700, depending on how close to the convention you get. I'm actually at this moment right now. I'm actually in Louisiana, so yeah, the plane ticket to make it back up there will cost me $700.
Really? Wow, that's
Yep.
Yeah, you want to make your plane tickets at least 3 to 4 months out in advance.
Well, I definitely would, without a doubt. So it's
that, or you could take the rental car adventure trip, one airport to the next, on like a 2 or 3 day epic journey. I've done that one.
That's pretty much what I'm doing for, well, not what I'm doing for Fiesta Equestria. I'm not flying to Fiesta Equestria. I am driving. I mean, Houston is kind of close enough, and I'm actually instead going to Oklahoma to carpool down there with Silvermane, and we're going to have our own little road trip adventure. That'll be fun. But conventions.
Off to adventure.
Adventure time! Indeed. So, yeah, Everfree Northwest looking to be real big. BronyCon big. I mean, then there's other smaller conventions like Cloudsdale Congress, which was enjoyable, but not quite on the same scale. And I think if you can attend any convention, large or small, you're going to have a good time. Just, even if the convention doesn't go quite as planned, it's usually still good fun for the attendees. Just maybe a little tougher for the organizers. So,
organized chaos, best thing to happen.
Herding cats, I believe the phrase is.
Herding cats. I get exactly what you're going for there. So, anyway, agreed. Let's head on. I think we've talked enough about conventions here, and talk about Equestria Girls, because that's a thing. Really? Is that how you... So...
Boy, I think this is my my signal to leave.
You don't have to leave. You can still talk about it or laugh at us.
I
also
personally
have friends here,
enjoyed
so
it.
I should probably take off myself. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
no spoilers, huh?
Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, no, it was a pleasure talking to you guys. Yeah, Kaigan, don't screw up. Just do not screw up. I know you're gonna screw up. Just don't do it.
Okay, I might
feel the
I might
love
listen
on the
to
Everfree
you.
Northwest team, you know? You can really feel the love.
Oh, I
Yeah,
feel
try and
so
put a lot
bad.
of
I've
faith
had
into our
this
staff.
conversation.
Chaos! Everyone is trying to speak at
Loud
once.
noises!
Why are we yelling?
Because everyone's trying to speak at once, and that does not work well.
Yeah. Well, anyways, thanks for having me, guys. You have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Kagan, you are certainly more than welcome to stick around.
All right. I can't stick around for too long. I still have a lot of paperwork to do. Convention is coming up, but I do have a couple more minutes before I have to have a little department meeting with my sec.
Well, I mean, after last week's podcast of 2 hours, we're certainly going to keep this one limited to our typical hour-long length. Never again.
Well,
Next movie.
just to go ahead and let you know of a time about 6:30 is your time is whenever I have to go ahead and
Okay.
hop off of here.
Sounds
So
good.
can we move on?
We will move on. The military survives.
Okay, Equestria Girls. Long story short version, it was good. I did enjoy watching it. I saw it in the theater, and yes, I saw it on theater, on post on Fort Benning, wearing a brony shirt. Number of fucks given, 0. But anyway, it was very enjoyable. I mean, but the issue, okay, look, I don't know what the problem with DHX is. You give them 22 minutes, and they write a 55-minute season finale. You give them an hour and 10 minutes, they write a 2-hour movie. And that's the basic issue with Equestria Girls, is that it's only an hour and 10 minutes long. There is no scene has time to breathe. Everything feels rushed. Things are just accepted and thrown out there, and then you move on without giving a second thought. And it needed to be...
Whoa, Tweak, you just broke your mic.
What?
Tweak, did you fix it?
What?
Okay.
It sounded like you destroyed your mic for a second there.
No, did you hear everything I just said, though?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
heard you. Like, I tend to agree with it. Now, my issue was I was like 50 minutes late to seeing the movie, so the movie they were already in like parallel universe Equestria at this
Oh,
point.
that sucks. That reminds me of the time when I showed up late to the season 2 finale.
It really wasn't too bad. They had I was able to pick up pretty quickly. Like, if I had seen the trailer, I would have understood a lot more, a lot faster. But I didn't need too much. The plot line was already going. But yeah, I agree with you, Tweak. Well, to a point. Like, it was rushed, but it wasn't. It wasn't as badly rushed as I would say the final episode of season 3 was.
Yeah,
I think
That was horrible. That was horribly rushed. Like,
I will agree. I'll agree with you, Saunter, that yes, it wasn't as rushed, but the problem is, okay, the big one that sticks out in my mind is when Twilight finally reveals to the parallel.
Oh yeah, we should
of
say
her
spoiler
friends.
alerts.
Yes,
Spoiler alerts!
This isn't a real spoiler. It's not really, because you knew this moment was going to happen. When Twilight reveals the truth about her to her human versions of the Ponyville friends, she says the whole thing comes out very funny way, by the way.
Yes,
But then-
not gonna ruin it. The
Yes,
way it
'cause
comes
that's
out
very
is
good.
really funny.
Okay,
Oh,
but so
yeah, that was a great way that happened.
okay, so
Okay.
she says it. Okay, look, she says it, and there it's out there. There's like a couple seconds of what, and then Spike talks, and then it's cool, we accept it. It's like whoa, hold up, okay. I get that the talking dog sort of lends credence that not everything is okay here, but you just immediately accept that, she's a pony princess from a parallel universe, and she's trying to get this magical artifact to save the world. Hold on, I did derp.
In all honesty, if you actually think back way to the beginning, the way that Twilight Sparkle actually explained to the main 6 in the first place about why Celestia disappeared, or why there was the first antagonist of the first season, Nightmare Moon, it really was in a similar situation to it. I mean, she did give just facts, and it was almost automatically accepted, whenever they went into the Everfree Force. So I think I can go ahead and relate those two instances.
I'll give you that, but you brought up the season 1 premiere, and that's a very good parallel for my other point, which is so little is explained. Again, I'm not spoiling anything, but the overall end goal of the villain is so vague and nebulous, and the way she goes about it is, well, let's be honest, stupid. Because I can think of 5 different ways, to accomplish what her mission was. You know what? We don't even know what her mission is. Just vague, generic evil plot number 27.
Actually, it was
She definitely wanted to take over
her plan-
Equestria.
Well, she said she wanted to take over Equestria. Of course.
Of course!
Well, yeah, okay, but again, it's just look. I'm gonna let
I
someone
do
else
like
take on.
the fact
someone
that
else
she said, I don't give a fuck about high school. I want to take over Equestria. Like, I think at that point everybody was like, well, yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Who wants to really, use magical powers to take over a fucking high school?
No one! And honestly,
That is true.
Tweak, I share your pain. Anyone who is a fan of good storytelling understands the importance of good pacing. And
Yes.
you cannot rush things and you can't draw things out for too long. You have to make sure that things have enough time to sink in and breathe, but they don't just hang out there forever. And
well,
Now-
you also have to think they are catering to the minds of some very hyper-minded children, and at the same time adding the necessary elements to keep an older audience.
Yeah,
hooked,
and
so.
if I could, I wanted to say something that's the other very major thing we have to remember. Okay, yes, I was underwhelmed, but I enjoyed it. However, the kids in the audience freaking loved it. They were hooping and hollering at all the right moments, all the little things you think, the kids are going to love that, they did. So the target audience, they loved it. They were really into it. So if nothing else, I would say this was a success in as far as it showed the MLP brand can branch out and accept and entice new viewers, and that will translate very well later on down the line when it comes to talking about season 5.
Definitely.
Now,
season
see,
4?
I had
If I were to give this, sorry.
I had the opposite experience where the people who were hooting and hollering the most at my theater were just the bronies. All the kids seemed to be mostly paying attention. I would guess it's I think they enjoyed the movie, but I couldn't really tell. I mean, I was sitting in the back, but I mean, it's not like all the kids were having fun. Most of the kids that were there watching the movie in Ohio were all younger than probably about 10. So, I mean, these are the kids who are looking up to high school, and I that was really their target demographic here, was people who are not in high school, but people who are like in middle school and want to get into that scene and think high school is kind of like High School Musical. And I will say that they really did seem to pull away from a couple of different other franchises to make it work. Like, there's a bit of High School Musical in it. There's a bit of strangely Sailor Moon and Buffy the Vampire Slayer in it.
The Transformer
that
bit,
was
I
odd.
almost lost myself at that one.
no spoilers.
I was on the floor laughing.
Yeah, and also I would want to say the music was catchy as hell. I will give it that.
I disagree.
No,
I'm
it
sorry.
was. It really was.
No,
Okay, I said catchy.
don't
I
don't
said
think it
catchy
was.
doesn't mean good. Catchy means it gets stuck in your head. But it also has a very bad.
Yeah,
really
I
don't
kinda
remember
agree with
a single.
Tweak.
I really don't remember a single song from Equestria Girls other than them banging on the tables and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, are they gonna do like a rendition of "We Will Rock You" or something? Nope.
Nope.
That would be cool.
That would have been awesome. Wait, I haven't seen this movie yet.
The other big problem I had was with the animation and art style. Now, look, I get that they're trying to cater to the whole Bratz Monster High thing, but shush. But the problem is that all of the characters looked alike. I mean, they were cookie cutter except for their colors. Now, I understand.
Gee,
that,
kind of like the actual show, huh?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Look,
you gotta.
Tell me something. Haven't you always pictured Pinkie Pie being a little, how to put this, a little thicker than the other
Pudgier?
girls?
Pudgier?
Yeah, not fat, but she eats all that gosh damn sugar. She's gonna be a little hefty, we'll say.
A little husky.
And also, why the hell are 12-year-olds wearing hooker boots?
For the same reason they would
Yeah, I
have
don't-
a cutie mark. Just saying, mark on their flank,
On all of their jeans, yeah.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
want to go
a
there, but
weird
okay.
thing.
But yeah, if I may nitpick
it
a
is
bit,
kind of.
yeah, if I may actually nitpick a bit to go ahead and expand on Tweak's analysis of the animation, I was a special effects animator for the Double Rainbow, and so I've been animating for about 2 years, and so I could actually notice a lot of techniques they used there in Equestria Girls. The puppets that they were given, most animation is done with puppets, as some of you may know, and the way that it's supposed to work is the puppets are supposed to be doing most of the action to go ahead and save some time, and with a little bit of traditional thrown in there for in-betweens. But the way that they executed the puppets, whenever there were times where it was obviously clear that they weren't they weren't actually using any in-betweens, and because of that, everything seemed kind of wild and unreal. But there were actually some pretty damn awesome times where they took the animation, they deviated from it, and they actually made it work and make it actually into a realistic image of how the face would actually turn, or how they would actually go about in doing this motion. They came up with some very creative ways to pose the characters, and I think because of this, the good times in the animation definitely outweighed the bad, in my opinion.
Very true, very true. And
What I think I saw from the animation was that there were a lot of finer points that if you weren't looking, you probably wouldn't have noticed, but were actually pretty useful. Like if you, I think at one point, I just barely noticed it. Rarity had like put on one of her like dress gowns for like the ball that they were going to, and she like turned around and tried to measure. She was like trying to give Twilight like her dress or something like that, and I remember that each one of the little fucking accessories on her dress all simultaneously swayed kind of naturally at the same point, and I was like, huh, there's just this little, they seem to have put some of the effort into some of the minor details that again, flash-based animation is not known for doing, but that's kind of their style. So
Oh yeah.
Very, very true. And in another thing that I really did like, when I first found out that Spike was going to be a dog, I was mad because I'm a big fan of Spike. I love the little guy. And I thought it was going to be disrespectful and bad. But honestly, the way they handled it, didn't bother me at all.
Very well. This is how you write Spike. Okay, you're seeing this Spike at your service? This is how you treat Spike with respect.
It takes for him to be a frickin' dog before they get it right. But it's just what Josh said, that he wasn't just an impudent little kid. I mean, he had his little moments, like when he tried to get Rarity to scratch behind his ears, which actually, when you think about it, when you put it in the realm of Pony and Dragon, that could be a little naughty, but whatever. We're not going to talk about that.
No.
But again, he helped Twilight. He helped rein her down, calm her down a little bit. He helped her fit in. He was the #1 assistant.
Yeah, and he also delivered snarky commentary from the sidelines. Oh my gosh, a talking dog! Really? School blows up and you're just noticing the talking dog. He literally said that.
That was probably one of the best fourth wall breaks I'd seen in that movie. But for Spike's, the way he was handled was that he was, for the most part of the movie, he was Twilight's inner monologue, and that is the key to handling Spike's character in relationship to Twilight to be successful, is that they kind of act as like this weird symbiotic counterbalance to each other. And the fact that, Spike wasn't allowed to talk and, he had to hide like in the school really emphasized this point that he is the working inner monologue for Twilight, keeping her steady. And that is what really sold that relationship very well.
He's the straight man. He's the one that, like again, the best example of this is Lesson 0. You look at there, he's the one telling Twilight, calm down, snap out of it,
The only thing that actually struck me odd with that was that in a completely new world that no one has ever seen before, the only plot hole that I see there is that he knew that he had to shut up to begin with. That was the only plot loophole, because in that world, how was he supposed to know without seeing an example? How was he supposed to know he wasn't supposed to be talking?
Well, dogs don't talk in his world either.
They did see that one guy who was walking the dog, so he might have inferred that.
And also, Winona never talked, so dogs don't talk in Equestria.
Yeah, you get a point.
Yeah, for logical
Somehow
arguments.
cows talk, turtles and dogs and pigs don't talk.
Yeah.
No, wait, the pigs talk, cows talk, but the dogs don't talk, and the chickens don't talk.
I don't know if the pigs talk.
And the turtles don't talk.
No, the pigs never talk. I think it's clove-hooved animals. Cloven-hooved animals.
Okay, so
that makes
ungulates
sense.
would be able to talk.
So what was that? What would be able to talk?
Ungulates?
Ungulates? Yeah, those are animals. Yes, like horses and cows.
Things with hooves. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But what about the goats?
They were intelligent.
I think those are still classic.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
They were
intelligent.
sentient. They just didn't talk.
Yeah, they were helping out. What's his face?
Iron Will.
Iron
Thank
Will.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, in a nutshell, overall, Equestria Girls had its flaw. But wait. There's one more thing we have to talk about. Brad.
No. It's not we talk about. Frickin' Sonderhoof rages the fuck out on Brad.
All right, I want to start this first. All right.
I'll wait till the end.
Seriously. When you introduce a little character at the beginning who's so obviously different from the rest of the Royal Guard, it's like you bump into this Royal Guard who's orange of all things, and you really don't expect. If you expect the audience to not put 2 and 2 together that he's going to be an important character, come on.
Yeah, definitely. Like every single guard is gray or is white. I would have accepted being told. I'm actually a little worried now because I would have accepted being told, well, they're kind of like painted, that's part of their uniform or something like that, something in that way. Now it's like, well, they're just really, really racist. They don't like any sort of colored ponies. They just only like white ones and gray ones and black ones.
Well, in all honesty, the Crystal Empire, the introduction did have a guard coming in with a voice and a small bit of acting. It wasn't a complete, monologue. He was in character and everything. They granted them some level of personality, and I think that's what helped actually ease it over to, okay, you can go ahead and pull the wool over their eyes. Yeah, he's in, he's probably in golden armor because, well, it's an important event, and he might be the leader of this important event. And I think because they did that before.
Golden skin though.
Well, that's another thing
Yeah. Anyways, continuing on. It's a Flash Sentry. I know. Tweak's gonna say that just call him Brad, and I think I'm gonna just keep calling him Brad because that just rolls off the tongue much. It just rolls off the tongue easier than Flash Sentry.
Just look at him. He's a Brad.
No.
Does he just look like a Brad?
It's easier. It's that Flash Sentry is the most douchebag name possible to give that guy.
Yeah. Anyways, it's Brad. I just feel was completely irrelevant to the plot. If I'm going to be honest.
Yes. He did nothing that could not have easily been accomplished by one of other friends. Matter of fact, one time when he really, really helps out Twilight, like saves her hide. It would have made so much more sense for that to have been Rainbow Dash, but it had to be Brad for no reason.
Of her friends, or maybe Applejack or something. It didn't have to be Brad.
You could have had attempt DJ to appeal to the newer demographic that they were actually going towards. That was
okay. But it suffers the exact same problem as most Disney princesses in the 90s, in that they share like 2, 3, like 5 to 7 lines of dialogue, and all of a sudden it's wow. It's like, are you freaking serious? If you're good, look, I have no problem whatsoever with you introducing a romantic male lead. I really don't. As a matter of fact, I think it could make for a very interesting arc or episode of the show. The problem is if you're gonna do it, damn it, do it right. Give it time to develop.
No problems
Again,
with
this
that.
movie should have been longer.
No, the problem is the character itself is the most shallow freaking douche rapper cliche of any sort of romantic male lead ever. You could have had his name be tween romantic male lead. That could have been it, and everyone would have said, yep, that's it.
Oh my god,
it would be more interesting, I think.
I understand it now. He is exactly like Edward from Twilight.
Oh god, please no.
That's why I hate him.
Alright guys, this is where I'm going to have to cut it short. I have a small department meeting I need to go to. It was awesome for you having me on the show, and I really do appreciate the chance for this podcast.
Not a problem.
Had fun with you. Now
had fun, man. See you later.
Get out.
Love you forever.
Fine. I'll be over here.
Get out of here.
All right, so
I
wouldn't go as far as to compare him to Edward, because Edward was, you're like my own personal brand of heroine.
Well, no, okay, you know what? I think you're right, because I've never read the book,
but
from what I've heard.
he talks like that.
Yeah, from what I've heard.
Yeah, at least Brad was upbeat.
Yeah, but again, I think Saunter is right in that he was just so bland, and it's not that he had a bad personality, it's that he didn't have one at all.
Oh,
was
Yeah,
just generic
I really can't
do-gooder.
I just can't really
disagree.
think of a
He did
single
have a bad
adjective to describe him.
Which is why I call him Brad. He's fucking Brad.
But see, I don't
He's
think
just
that
so
it was that
so Brad.
he didn't. It was that he had a bad personality. The personality of every single tween idol male lead of no sexual tension whatsoever, but a harmless male that can be introduced according to a family values scenario in order as to not threaten anyone who could be female. It's the worst. Just I hate
the
it.
worst. The
He's
worst
just
thing
a
about
walking
the worst
douchebag,
thing,
and I hate him.
The worst thing about the whole scenario was when Twilight got around him. She did that little hair twirly thing. It's like, are you serious?
Are you serious
Twilight
right now?
Sparkle,
Not
Princess of
believe they were doing
Equestria,
that.
savior of the world, one of the most brilliant ponies on the planet, and she getting all gaga over this kid.
No, just no.
No, that wasn't the worst part.
I could hardly believe that was happening.
It was bad enough when I heard his voice. It was bad enough when I saw him fucking play the goddamn guitar like any super douche would do. No, but this is it. This is the thing that freaking sent me into a rage in the theater. I saw him pull up in a goddamn Mustang.
Oh,
What's the matter, Saunter? You jealous?
You get it, bro?
No. Everyone in the military knows that a bullshit excuse is the freaking Lance Corporal who goes out, blows all his deployment money on a freaking Mustang and thinks, oh man, I'm so cool now.
Sadly, yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
You know what I'm freaking talking
just-
about. Everyone who's listening to this knows, especially if you're on a Marine Corps base, about Lance Corporals and their goddamn Mustangs. And
Yeah,
it just like
specialists-
spoke volumes to the depth of this character. And
Specialists are the
there
exact
was
same
none.
way.
no. Okay, so I'm just curious, Saunter. Did you like actually have an audible sort of "come on"?
Oh,
or,
come the fuck on!
like, did you actually
No,
have an
my
outburst?
fist went up into the air, and I just like that, like a little quietly in the theater because I didn't want to disturb.
So you were
like, the
still
children and
considerate
stuff.
of other people. Good for you.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I was allowed to comment vocally on anything I wanted because the theater for me was empty, other than this one other guy.
Was this the guy who knew you, recognized you from YouTube?
Yeah, I was actually recognized in the theater.
That's
Yeah, he asked me for a picture.
Wow.
almost
what is
sad.
it like being famous, Josh?
It
You
feels-
found
it-
one
it
person
feels
that
really
knew you
good.
in an empty movie
Honest-
theater. I don't think that's really
Honestly,
famous.
I think that me actually going out in my performance uniform might have had something to do with it, but
But
All right.
okay.
All right. I think I'm gonna try and sum up our feelings on Equestria Girls in a nutshell. While yes, it was underwhelming, and Brad
particularly
was
that
just
climax. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that
yeah.
climax.
and that Brad was just as bad, if not worse, than we thought he would be. As a whole, it was an enjoyable film. I walked away thinking that I did not feel like I wasted my time. It was enjoyable. It was nice to see. My favorite part in the beginning was Twilight trying to fly and falling right in her face. That was great.
Which is
Come
an
on.
enormous plot hole considering the ending of the season 3 finale.
Okay, shut the hell up. And also her, popping a wing boner in bed. Come on.
Oh, God.
No, she's trying to sleep, and you literally hear the spang, and the sheets falls off. She's like, ah. But
That's-
overall, it was not nearly the train wreck that everyone was fearing. It was actually an enjoyable film.
Yeah, I'd have to give it about a 68 out of 100.
I'd go so far as to, you know what? Yeah, the overall criticisms are it needed to be longer, it needed to have a little more money behind it, and it needed to have no Brad.
And,
See,
also I do have a couple personal nitpicks. It's like there was one time that they used the Wilhelm scream when no one was falling,
Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
and also they reduced Snips and Snails to a watered down Pain and Panic.
Oh.
Okay, but see,
Well,
that was a weird
mean-
part.
And okay,
for-
look, and they have all these little fan nods in there, like you see a humanized photo finish and hoity-toity and vinyl
DJ.
scratch, but no Derpy.
No,
I didn't
zero.
see
I
Derpy.
think Derpy. okay, little theory here. I think Derpy was that disguise that Rarity put on Twilight.
And that's possible, maybe, but I mean, I don't know.
That might be a
What
stretch.
about Lyra?
Lyra? That's how I
I
feel.
don't
What about Lyra?
I don't think we saw her.
I didn't see her. I didn't see
Which
her or Bomb Bomb.
that's the ultimate, flip off to the fans. Yeah, that one character who was obsessed with humans. You think? Yeah, she's not in the human world.
Oh. Whoa.
Well, that's because
Yeah,
she's a
so
pony.
I really want to talk about that climax. Are we still not doing spoilers?
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
I really want
Okay,
to talk
but
about that climax
the
because that
basic-
was the absolute weakest part of the movie.
And it was just because it was underexplained, it was rushed, the
Generic
motivations
villain.
and the plans were just not there. It didn't make sense.
And
Like I said, it was
what Sunset Shimmer? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that. It just dumb.
Yes. Okay. All right. We need to move on because we can't say anything more without spoilers.
I'm sorry, but reject from Danny Phantom. I'm sorry.
I thought the character model for her true form was actually pretty cool.
Just.
But I do have this other thing that really bothers me about the movie is that from the vocal perspective, Lee Tokar is good at his job, but when you really see Snips and Snails, they are majorly involved in this movie, but
Yeah,
they hardly ever say
yet
anything.
no development for either of them.
Well, yeah, but that's my point is that they almost don't even speak.
It's that's exactly what I mean. Watered down Pain and Panic.
But I think we can all agree that the highlight of the movie was the great and powerful Trixie using a vending machine.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
The great and powerful Trixie! Need some peanut butter crackers.
That
That was not the highlight of the movie. The highlight of the movie was definitely either Spike's comment about being a talking dog, or actually the highlight of the movie of me actually came from a brony that was in the crowd, and the second time Pinkie Pie had very clearly broken the fourth wall, some brony from the front just shouted, "You read the script!" How did you know that? You read the script!
Yeah.
Yeah, Pinkie Pie breaking fourth walls and doing her thing.
Pinkie Pie was being all Pinkie Pie in this.
So
But
too
I
long.
wouldn't give it.
Yeah, too long didn't read. It was good, but it was a little rushed.
Could have been better.
I wouldn't call it a 63 or whatever you guys called it.
I got it a 69. 69 for me is above average. I'm not grading this according to the school scale where 50 is fail and 60
What school
is
did
below
you
average.
go to? 50 was not
Yeah,
failing
60.
at my school.
60 was
50
failing.
is failing at every single school I've been to.
65 or 75 was failing at my school.
No, for us,
No,
it was
I mean,
70,
you need 65 or
74
lower.
to 70 was a D, and 69 below was a fail.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not the relevant discussion.
Yeah, but
Still-
okay,
still,
so
out of a score of 100, I give it a 69, above average.
I would give it probably, I'd say it's a solid B.
I give
Yeah,
it a
I'd-
C plus.
And looking at like you have A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus. I say it's a solid B. It was an enjoyable flick.
I would say it is about as enjoyable as an average My Little Pony episode. It really didn't stand out too hard, but it was definitely worth watching at once.
And you actually just made me realize something. It really does again highlight that for the writing team, their strength is slice of life, not adventure. Because you look at it, the moments where slice of life in the movie are very well done. But when they try to get to the adventure parts, the more action epic-y stuff, that's when it starts to falter a little bit.
Well, but that's also because they cannot actually go too hard down the road of action adventure with action and stuff. You're just seriously, when the antagonist goes and picks up the sledgehammer, I'm just whoa, what just happened
Canterlot
here?
Wedding, though. Canterlot Wedding, end of season 2.
Canterlot Wedding. So I really rather enjoyed that fight scene.
And then,
That was pretty badass.
And then with the Hydra, that was pretty intense back in season 1 with Froggy Bottom Bog and feeling Pinky and Keen that episode. That when the Hydra came up, you're like, that was a little unexpected and intense for a little girl show.
It was overall. I'd still say the writing they're kind of like hit or miss, but again, this like turned into this weird. At the very end, it turned into this weird Buffy the Vampire Slayer / Silver Moon thing going on, and then Deus Ex Friendship.
Deus Ex Friendship.
Deus Ex Friendship and bland musical number.
I really don't think the music was that great, but I will say I was glad to hear.
And Deus Ex Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
I will say that I was glad to hear the CMC listening to their own song. That was pretty good.
That is so. Part just made me laugh because that is so what those 3 girls would do if they actually had something similar to the Showstoppers happen in real life, and it's something I usually do.
It was pretty good.
I still have not seen this movie. Just to reiterate this to our listeners.
Okay, so we're gonna stop so we don't spoil anything else.
Well, we've already spoiled most of it. I mean, I'm okay with still spoiling the rest of it, just letting everyone understand that spoilers from this point on. We've gone pretty hard here into the movie.
I mean, we have gone really hard into the movie, and I would be all for talking about it. Oh, okay. Good job, Tweak. Good job. Anyway, we're coming up on that hour mark, so I mean, we could keep going. Even though I said we wouldn't keep going at the beginning after last week's 2-hour podcast.
I don't know. Do we have anything more to talk about?
Could I toot my own horn for a second?
Sure.
Talk about the recent thing I accomplished that we were just talking about earlier?
Sure. Why not?
I just, if no one noticed, my story, Under a Luminous Sky, got accepted in the Pony Fiction Vault. It got highlighted there, and if you go to that website, you'll also see a video interview that I did for Pico Pie, who is my editor, and he's also the guy who was making that fan fiction documentary. And I believe, Saunter you said we were going to link that on the FOB website?
Yeah, I want to try and do that as a sit rep here soon. So.
Okay, so yeah, that'll be long, and if I could just indulge in a little bit of self-wankery here, thank you all, everyone who even read a single chapter of my story. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, I mean, I had something to say, but I completely lost it. And it was along your lines there, Tweak. It was about something like that, but oh well.
Having a royal guard with a fucking Mustang is a douchebag move. Equivalent to him wearing a goddamn tap-out shirt.
Yeah, probably equivalent. And actually, I know we're coming up on that hour mark, but I'm pretty sure we've already passed it, honestly, if I have my times correct here. But so I'm just curious. I'm gonna throw this question out there and see where it lands, I guess. Has anyone actually heard the whole? I know everyone's kind of feelings towards Fox News, but anyone hear that story about how apparently, there was this small little uproar about the way the Equestria girls were portrayed?
No, I haven't heard anything about it.
No, I haven't heard that. Link me to this so I can properly rage over it.
So I guess this will be a subject for next week's podcast. But long story short, there was complaints about them showing this stereotypical thin girls sort of thing, and actually it wasn't even so much that. It was they had an issue with the way they were dressed because they felt it was skimpy and immorally revealing and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's bullshit. There was nothing skimpy about those dresses. Twilight showed us fucking shoulder, and maybe in Saudi Arabia that's fucking exotic as all hell, but I mean there was really nothing of any sort of caliber.
Yeah, let's save our discussion on that for next
just
week.
For the record, it was mothers that were upset about this.
Well, yeah, the mothers in America is always upset.
But
Mothers of America killed Derpy.
Yeah, again, another time.
Can I just point out? Did anybody else think that Vice Principal Luna's face was jacked up somehow?
It looked like she did. Yeah, a little bit. She looked fat.
She looked
there
like
was
a Bratz doll.
There was something wrong with her face. I can't put it down like what was wrong with it, but just something just seemed really wrong with her face.
I again
Wrong
have
with
not
your
seen the movie.
face?
And honestly, at this point, I'm probably just gonna wait for the DVD because it does not sound like it is worth my time to go drive to a theater where it's being shown and spend that money on gas and that money on a movie ticket to see an okay movie.
I would say it's worth it if you go with friends, but it's not worth it if you go by yourself.
I have brony friends I could go with, but at the same time, I mean, I could also just watch it with them in my apartment on a nice big screen TV and probably have the same fun with it.
I'd suggest if you have already the My Little Pony seasons downloaded, you should probably just go ahead and buy the movie when it comes out in DVD.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing. So, anyway, I guess any sort of news stuff that we want to wrap up with, like, kind of throw out there before. I know Tweet got his little news out there with his, tooting his own horn. But anyone else have anything before we wrap this thing up?
I just fucking hate Brad so much.
That has been made plenty clear. In fact, all three of you have made it plenty clear how much you hate Brad. But I guess that's a no. That sounded like a no to me. And typical wrap up. If you have something you want us to discuss on the podcast, simply send an email to fobequestria@gmail.com with the subject of podcast, and we will definitely give it consideration. Honestly, it saves us a little bit of work and a little bit of brainstorming when you guys, and also it helps us to give you guys what you want, honestly. And that's part of the reason we do this, is to bring some sort of entertainment to you, the listeners. So definitely send something our way if you have something. Head of music in that literature review position. Currently, we are looking at applicants who have tried for the position, who have put their name forward for the position. So I would say at the moment we are not accepting any more applications, and we will be adjusting that appropriately on our staff page very shortly, just so we don't give false indication of what we're looking for. And should those positions not be filled by the current applicants because they aren't quite able to fulfill that position with what we are looking for, we will open them again and you will know. So yeah, this has been the FOB Equestria Podcast, and everyone say your goodbyes because I figure I should let you do that.
Semper Filling, good night, and Equestria Girls is good, watch it.
Fucking Brad.
Alright, Pony Stronghold, later, and go see Equestria Girls.
This is Spangle, signing off. FOB Equestria Podcast is out.